Hello everyone and welcome back to Currency Bliss. Today we will be talking about the unboxing and history of the 1937 Canadian $5 bill. So without further ado, let's get to the unboxing. There's the bill. And now let's get to the history. The 1937 series of Canadian banknotes were introduced by the Bank of Canada to replace the earlier 1935 series. These were the first Canadian bills to show the portrait of King George VI, who became king in 1936. The notes were created during a tough time for the economy, just after the Great Depression and as World War II was about to set in. This series is not just a series, it is fundamentally important in the history of Canadian notes, as it reflects Canadian values of fairness, accountability, and multiculturalism. The notes were the first series of official Canadian government notes to include both English and French writing. The 37 series also included various security features, replacing the relatively simple or easy to replicate design of the 35 notes. One of the most prominent security features of the new notes was the watermark of King George VI, which can be seen when held up to light on any authentic 37 note. Red serial numbers also helped the 1937 series distinguish itself from counterfeiters, as it acted as a source of potential for the government because of the relative scarcity of this feature. Fine line engraving and intricate designs also made the counterfeiters have to pay extra attention to details. So yeah, you see the fine line engraving kind of like on the sides of the portrait, sides of the note around this blue shading here. You can see so now we're going to actually talk about the process of this. The 1937, it used improved intaglio printing techniques, which allowed for raised printing that could be felt by touch. This type of printing was much harder to replicate using typical printing presses, and it was a key feature in combating counterfeiting. Raised printing is a technique used on things like money to create a texture you can feel by touch. The design is carved into a metal plate, and then ink is applied to it. The plate is then pressured onto paper with a lot of pressure, which makes the ink rise slightly above the surface. This makes the printed parts of the note feel raised, almost like a bump or embossed design, so you can feel it when you run your fingers over it. So the 1937 bilingual series was issued in denominations of 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, and 1000. They remained in circulation until the early 1950s, when further security and design changes were introduced. This particular $5 note, printed by the British American Banknote Company, features the same image of electric power that appears on the back of the 1935 $5 note, but it's blue rather than orange. So this whole thing is supposed to represent electric power. Canada's currency reflects the country's strong commitment to fairness and truth, values that are at the core of Canadian identity. The security features on Canadian banknotes, such as watermarks, raised printing, and unique serial numbers, are not just technical safeguards. They represent Canada's dedication to honesty and transparency. For a country that prides itself in fairness, ensuring the integrity of its currency is essential. The advanced security features of banknotes make it much harder for counterfeiters to manipulate or deceive the public. By investing in these measures, Canada upholds a system where everyone can trust that the money they hold is genuine, accurate, and protected from fraud. So when it comes to the price of these $5 notes, it all depends on the signature you really have. So data from Coins in Canada can tell us a little bit about the price. So for the coin tower signature, in fine to extremely fine condition, you can expect the value to be anywhere from $22 to $111 Canadian. And in uncirculated condition, these notes can command higher prices, up to $1,200 to $1,400, depending on the note's overall quality. For the Gordon Tower signature, fine to extremely fine is 28 to 101, 15 to 1890 for uncirculated. The Osborne Tower signature, which is the most expensive one, is fine to extremely fine is 250 to 2040, and the uncirculated is anywhere up to 12,000, which is just absurd. I mean, who wants to be paying $12,000 for this kind of note? I'm sorry, it's a nice note, but like, I don't think anybody really I don't know. I guess some people are just really into that fancy serial number vibe and all that kind of fancy signatures, all that kind of stuff. I was always more into collecting type notes and old notes rather than that, but yeah, everybody has their own preference. Yeah, so that pretty much concludes my video for today, and I hope you guys have a good day and enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you.